Aziz Ansari from Parks and Recs, and what's the other name of the show called?
Master of None.
Yeah. He's being accused of sexual misconduct, and I think it's completely ridiculous. Jeff, you feel different. We'll get into
Have you read
the
her
details
side?
of the case.
Have you read her side?
I read an account of what happened.
What? How big is the account?
I read an account of what happened. I don't know if I got all her side. I just got some of her side and some of his side. I know there wasn't all the details there, but from
she puts all
the bullet points that I read, it
down.
sounds a little ridiculous. I read the accusation. I read kind of her side, and I read his side of what happened with Aziz Ansari. But I didn't get into this article that you posted that had everything in it, so you can fill us in on that. But it basically said,
I can't fill you in on it because the details are very R-rated.
Okay, well, this is what I have so far, all right? She's a photographer. Apparently, she's 22. She liked him. He, obviously found her attractive and enough to invite her back to his apartment. They were, having, hanging out, and it got a little physical. And then it got from, kind of first base to second base to, hey, why don't you, No,
okay. It went from
service.
It went from quickly. It went to first base, second base, according to her accounts. Okay,
and she said he was very aggressive.
She said, "I'm uncomfortable with this." Went into the bathroom, splashed water in her face for like 5 minutes, according to her, to collect herself in the mirror while splashing herself with water. Then she went back out there. He goes, "Are you okay?" She says, I don't want to feel forced, because if I feel forced, then I'm going to end up hating you, and I'd rather not hate you. So then he says, "Oh, of course. Yeah, it's only fun if we're both only having fun." And then she sat down on the floor next to him. He was sitting on his couch, and he acknowledged that, okay, maybe I need to take it slow a little bit. He goes, "Let's just chill over here on the couch."
God, it's starting to sound creepy.
So then she sits down on the ground. She's thinking, he might rub her back or play with her hair, something to calm her down a little bit after he was being very aggressive in ways I cannot even describe. The only way you can go and read it for yourself, and it's not,
Was he getting handsy?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so beyond handsy. Beyond handsy.
Yes. Then he's sitting there, and then he tells her to turn around, and then when he tells her to turn around, he points into his lap for obvious reasons.
And he's there, what, naked?
No, he's not.
Oh.
But he tells her to do something, and then
okay, service.
Yes,
he would like service,
and then, but she does it. But she says that she didn't know what else to do, because she had told him, "Hey, this is moving a little fast. I don't want to hate you." But then he goes back and he goes down that route again. Now, I don't know if this is a situation where he thinks part of the game is she's playing hard to get, or so this is part of the push and pull and the struggle that we've all come accustomed to, I guess, or what has become the norm. But she is very upset about it. She goes on to text him the next morning afterwards, saying, "I was really uncomfortable with the way you handled that last night," to which he has issued a statement saying that, basically he felt bad about it. He thought it seemed okay at the time, but in reflection, she felt uncomfortable, and he thought everything was okay. But when he heard that from her,
but she could have got up and left at any time, right?
She felt uncomfortable. He felt bad for it the next day. This is really tricky, because this has sparked a huge internet debate on whether or not this is considered sexual harassment or sexual misconduct, or if this is just a case of a date gone wrong. So that's what we have as the poll question today, okay? Now, we want you to collect all the facts. All the links to all the articles that you need are right there at the KZOZ.com poll question.
Well, not everybody's going to read it. You should read it. I haven't read it. I'm going to read it right now. But we want you to go there. We want you to read it.
It says in big bold letters underneath it, "Please read both sides of the story before formulating your opinion." Right. Yet you've already formulated your opinion.
No, I have not.
Yes, you did. You said earlier that it sounds like BS to you.
Well, I'll tell you what I read. I read a story that was printed. This wasn't the entire story with everything. It was kind of a collection of everything. And what it said to me was that she felt coerced into doing something, but she liked him and wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And then after it was all over with, she didn't just get up and leave. They hung out, watched an episode of Seinfeld, and then she left.
Yeah, but the thing is, she feels as if in after the fact and during that she was forced or coerced into acting this way.
All right.
And he some of the things that he did were unwelcome advances. And you could read the details of what those are by clicking on the poll at kzoz.com. And Jeremy,
I'm going to go read it right now.
Before you formulate,
I'm just telling you what I've read so far. It just sounds like
and this is
something
hard for
that
me.
turned awkward, but there's really no fault on his side.
See, no, this is and after you read this, because I'm an Aziz Ansari fan, just like
whether you're a fan or not, but okay.
Well, no,
once you get the details,
so it's hard for me being a fan of Aziz Ansari to be mad at him for what went down. But after I read her accounts, it's hard not to be mad at anybody that acted in this fashion about what went down. But that being said, I know a lot of people that have probably conducted themselves in this way, and that's how things went down. That's why probably we need to change the way we do things in society when it comes to men and women, and the way our rules are.
She comes over to his apartment. Apparently, they go out to dinner, and then they come back to the apartment, and that's when all the sexual stuff happens, and it gets hot right away. She comments on his counters. He says, why don't you get up there? And then he's on her like an animal. And I'll say this, okay? She could have left at any time. She's decided to stay there. But the way he conducted himself embarrasses me as a man. Like, this is disgusting. And, I mean, I don't know if he did anything illegal. Morally, I think he was wrong. I think that you don't treat women that way. But she also could have left at any time.
Yeah, he wasn't keeping her there against her
will. Now,
will.
that doesn't mean that what he did wasn't. I'm not saying what he did was right and that he wasn't in the wrong, because I would never conduct myself that way, nor I would ever want any other man to conduct himself that way. And that's kind of embarrassing. He treated her like a piece of meat. I mean, it was bad. And you know what? I was raised different.
And that's why I say that Aziz Ansari, even if he wins in the court of public opinion, because it seems as if he probably will, he's never going to get a date again.
He's a creep. I mean,
I don't know if it's a creep.
He sounds like those guys.
He's into weird foreplay.
Remember those guys in high school that would just, they just couldn't control themselves? I mean,
well, and that's what she says in this account. She said that when she talked with this webpage babe.net, that he conducted himself like an entitled 18-year-old, a horny, rough, entitled 18-year-old when she was talking to her friends via the text after the date. She was saying he was like an 18-year-old, a horny, rough 18-year-old. And she even said that she made reference to him and said, all you guys are the same. All you guys are the effing same. Like, and she was like pissed off at him, and he was just like, oh, yeah, whatever, which is not the picture that you want to paint if you're Aziz Ansari on this one.
And all guys are not the same. I mean, I would say most guys are not this way.
But
this guy had, maybe because he's a celebrity, maybe because he's successful, he's got money. I don't know. I don't know if that's why he acted that way. I don't know if he acted that way because he's always acted with women that way. Or if, he was a little drunk. I have no idea. It doesn't sound like they drank that much. So it's kind of gross how he acted. And he kept chasing her around like a lion chasing
yeah. She said
an antelope.
She said
he was going to devour her.
It was like they were playing a game. She would go to one part of the apartment, and then he would follow her to that part of the apartment. Then she would go to another part of the apartment.
Sticking his fingers in her mouth. I mean, that's like, who does that? Who just jams fingers in somebody's mouth? I mean, there was a reason for it. I get it, but no, you don't do that. Anyways, gross. I think he's kind of gross. But what was
so
sexual misconduct?
Sexual misconduct or date gone bad or probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, I'd say it's both.
You'd say probably a
I'd
little
say
bit of
probably
both.
a little bit of both. Anyways, you can check out the story.
I don't know. After I read her side,
Holly writes in, she totally thinks he did nothing wrong, which is very strange to me. But she's a woman, and she's probably a woman that thinks, hey, this woman should have slapped him or got up and left, and she didn't. And I don't understand why she didn't either. But I'm not in that situation.
Okay, but
she's only 22 years of age. She doesn't have that much life experience, and maybe she just felt like even though she knew she could physically leave, but she felt like she couldn't.
But isn't this a discussion about equality on this one? Put yourself in that situation. Okay? You're over at some girl's house that you like, but don't know if you want to be with that girl, and she just starts forcibly shoving her fingers in your throat.
I grab her hand, pull it away, and then I leave.
Right.
But I mean, listen, I'm different than you and Sally and Bill, and somebody just wrote, how do you know she didn't make the whole thing up? That's the only problem I have with this right now. We're just kind of taking her account.
Yeah.
And,
This is what makes me think that she didn't make the whole thing up, okay?
a lot of detail.
The amount of detail.
A lot of detail.
The amount of detail.
She should either be a novelist
and
or...
if he would have just let her finish that glass of wine at dinner, there'd probably be a lot less detail.
Oh, my God. So many people have responded on this.
The fact that it's called the Claw bothers me because now...
What is called the Claw? Is that a move?
That's what the article... did you read the article?
Listen,
she referred to it as the Claw like 5 times in the article when he's like putting his fingers in her mouth.
I was reading very fast because it goes on. I mean, literally, it could take you 20 minutes to read this thing.
The thing... You need to read more, dude. Come on. Are you serious?
This thing is pages long.
You've been saying you're going to read this thing for 30 minutes now. This is not a 30-minute read, okay?
I read it, okay? I read it.
I will never be able to watch Liar, Liar again because in Liar, Liar, when when Jim Carrey does the thing to his son, he's like, I'm going to get you with the claw. No, I can't watch that anymore. I can't.
She calls
because I'm going to think of Aziz Ansari now.
I just didn't get to the bottom. So, yeah, she calls it the claw. That is the mouth to the Donald Trump. Okay, I wanted to get to some of these responses because the people were weighing in on him. Mostly women, by the way.
Weird, which is weird because it's mostly women
and supporting him.
Defending Aziz Ansari on this.
Here's Kat. She says she could have left anytime. Why did she stay? I just feel like, some women, and this doesn't just go for women, it goes for men too. But, some people are stronger willed than other people. Some people have, a little bit more independence, and and other people, they just, they don't. And they find it very uncomfortable, and they might not have that willpower to get up and leave. I don't know, because I'm not her. I don't know her that well. Let's see. Carrie says, I agree with Holly. And Holly says that she could have left at any time. When she said she was uncomfortable, did he hide her car keys? No. Because, they...
Uber.
He
called her an Uber.
She then watched TV with him for a while and then left.
Yeah, but she also goes on in the...
Is she so starstruck by him?
In the report that you have not read yet, apparently... She said
Not
that
all
she
the way.
sat there and she felt terrible about it and sat there and felt sick to her stomach while watching this. It's not like they sat down and had a laugh over Seinfeld. He may have been laughing about Seinfeld. She said she'd never seen that episode before. She was trying to be polite. She did not know how to handle it. And then when the episode of Seinfeld was done, she got up. She goes, I'm leaving now. And she was very
I like what
upset.
Sherry just said. And she says, there was times where, okay, yes, he was doing things to her, but then there was also times where she voluntarily did things to him. Sexual things, like very sexual things. And she didn't have to do that, but she did it. And he was like, all right, let's do this. And then she was like, all right, here I come. I'm going to do it now. Those are the things like, okay, so she wasn't forced to do that. She decided to do that. So, I see what a lot of these women are saying. And I think a lot of these women that were like, I would never put myself in that situation and continue to be in it, don't have a lot of sympathy for this girl.
He texted her right afterwards the next day. And he said, hey, it was fun meeting you last night. And she said, last night might have been fun for you, but it wasn't for me. You clearly ignored nonverbal cues. You kept going with your advances. I want to make sure that you're aware so maybe the next girl doesn't have to cry on the ride home in the Uber that you call her. He responded to that, so sad to hear this. Clearly, I misread things at the moment. I'm truly sorry. So he felt bad.
Yeah, I think so.
Bad.
I think that's true, and I think it's honest.
He knew that he had
acted like an immature 14-year-old boy the first time with a naked girl.
Aggressive, entitled, horny 18-year-old.
18. Okay, 18.
That's what she said to her friends.
Brad writes in, he says, maybe it's both of their faults, because he was acting inappropriately, and she should have just, got up and left. They both were in a situation to make it better, and they didn't. I think that's a good point. Anyways, you should go and vote on this. I've said everything I want to say. Do you want to say anything more?
This has pretty much killed the one-night stand for anybody who's on the dating
scene. Oh, it
scene
has not killed anything.
Hasn't it?
No, this stuff is going on forever.
I'm believing.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.